This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Friday, 23rd August 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. 6 months after wreaking environmental havoc on Tobago's windward coast, the mysterious Gulf Stream barge is now in Port of Spain and undergoing preparation for storage. The 100-meter-long vessel became the subject of environmental concern and political debate after the 7th of February, when the Tobago Emergency Management Agency received reports of a capsized ship off the coast of Cove in Tobago. A thick oil-like substance was washing up on nearby coastlines, spanning beaches from Rockley Bay to Canoe Bay. Lab tests revealed it was bunker fuel. The Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries reported it had been successfully floated and partially sunken barge at 11:54 p.m. on Monday. In a media release issued yesterday, the ministry says two tugboats from the National Energy Corporation towed the barge from Cove, Tobago to Sealots in its overturned state in a 30-hour-long voyage. The brutal murder of 5-year-old Anika Guerra and her father, Enrico Guerra, has angered Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who has described it as the worst kind of barbarism. In a Facebook post issued before midnight on Wednesday, Dr. Rowley condemned the killer that shot the child 5 times, admitting his anger at the double tragedy. The Prime Minister wrote, quote, "Tonight I am shocked and angered at the barbarism that could have resulted in violent criminal conduct with total disregard for human life in our country, which could see an adult with a firearm deliver several shots to the body of a 5-year-old child." The Prime Minister continued, "This and acts like these represent the worst of what we are and what we've produced, and promised the authorities would pursue the criminal element which currently has Trinidad and Tobago under siege." The Office of the Prime Minister says the Trinidad Express newspaper owes Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and political analyst Dr. Winford James an apology. It revealed this position in response to an article in the Daily Express on page 7, a story by Shirley Ramsubag headline, "PM Defense PAN Plan hits back at political analyst purporting to report on a public meeting held in La Horquetta on Tuesday night, which erroneously claims Dr. Rowley lambasted Dr. Winford James, a columnist who regularly writes for the Trinidad Guardian." The statement from the OPM indicated that the Prime Minister did not at any stage during his remarks take issue with or name political analyst Dr. Winford James. Dr. Rowley is fully aware Dr. James is not a current staffer at the University of the West Indies, and therefore his reference to current staffers, analysts, and commentators at UWI could not have been referring to Dr. Winford James, and clearly referred to others who are known to the Trinidad Express. The Prime Minister made reference to people who are teaching political science at UWI, and therefore could not have been referring to Dr. James, an eminent linguist who is not known to be a teacher of political science at UWI's St. Augustine campus. The leader of the opposition has called on the government to engage in more critical issues instead of matters relating to the country's coat of arms. Recently, the Prime Minister indicated government's plan to replace Christopher Columbus's 3 ships with the national instrument, the steel pan. Dr. Rowley made the disclosure at the PNN National Special Convention. However, speaking at the United National Congress final pre-budget consultation in Superior, leader of the opposition, Mrs. Pasal Bissessa, claimed there are more important issues and developments facing the population at this time. She cited matters including the rising cost of living, crime, high food prices, and challenges in the school system, among others, which now must be urgently addressed. Canadian YouTuber Christopher Christmas Liz Hughes is back in Trinidad and Tobago and says he will now defend himself in court as he cannot afford to pay his legal fees. Hughes claimed on Wednesday he was told he had 2 days to pay US $40,000 for just 2 court hearings. His former lead attorney, Pamela Elder, senior counsel, says this is not true. Elder confirmed she and her junior attorney, Russell Warner, no longer represented Hughes, but, quote, "whatever transpired between us is subject to legal and professional privilege." Elder said Hughes's claim contained gross inaccuracies and the distortion of the facts. Another person has died from dengue fever in Trinidad and Tobago, bringing the number of deaths in this country to 9. This confirmed by the Health Ministry in its latest epidemiology update on dengue cases in the country. ministry also confirmed there are 911 lab-confirmed cases of dengue in the country. In news of the region, the Guyana Teaching Union confirms it had reached agreement on salaries and non-salary benefits for teachers covering the period 2024 to 2026. The union says the package includes salary increases and a range of non-salary enhancements, allowances due to free concessions, housing, revolving fund allocations, scholarships, clothing allowances, and health coverage. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Raul Gonzalez has clarified why Jamaican dancehall star Vybz Kartel is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's made it clear his visit is not connected to any politics, but just a thing of human decency. Gonzalez, speaking on NBC Radio's face-to-face program, says he wanted to address the issue of the presence of Vybz Kartel, real name Adidja Palmer, being an SVG, noted. He's being interviewed earlier in the week by a radio host from Jamaica about reasons behind the Jamaican entertainer being in SVG. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming up at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Neighbors, on this 23rd day of August. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Fullcasting this morning, you just heard from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from Wendell Stephen. We got Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Shane and Ruben in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. 24 degrees at Piarco International Airport. 26 at Crown Point in Tobago. Has the Met Office updated their weather forecast for today? No, they have not. Okay, so I'll tell you. As soon as I get it, I will tell you. On the highways and the byways, I got nada. Nothing. All right? So good morning to Paul. What's happening?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone. Good Friday morning to you.
Yeah. You know, I just want to let you know that with the background that we're not seeing your shoulders. All we're seeing is your head.
That's
there
good.
You go. It's a ghost. Oh, that's scary. That's scary. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. It come and goes. Anyway, morning to you, my friend. Let's you all also send us hellos first thing this morning. You know, when I don't do it, you all send messages and buff me, and I don't like being buffed. So, good morning to Wendy and James, DJ Ray in Delaware, Oliver Man Warren, Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona, Garcelia in Valencia, Wayne Barrett in Covenant, Georgia, Boy Badesi down in Davie, Carol Guevara, Alistair Hart, CJ New York, David Wares, and of course, Mrs. Wares. Good morning to you, my dear. Ewart Rajpal, Maria Celia, Wayne Ramsey, Subash Mungal, long time. Trinidad Margot, Ian Lee. Where are you today, Ian Lee? You didn't say. Thank you so much, Ian Lee. Gloria Gray, Michael Robinson in Yokohama, Japan, Business Prasad, Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida, Ambrose Blah in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Michael Gradison, Anthony Tinto in Ontario, Canada, Shanika York. Good morning to you, Shanika York. Hope all is well with you. Anthony in Toronto via WhatsApp. David Nelson, Sankofa, GNC Auto Security, Kiwami Charles, good morning to you as well. Okay. Yeah, Pablo. Glad to see you in the office.
Good morning, Wendell.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Steve. Morning, Richard. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. It started out as a beautiful Friday morning. I hope it remains that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday was also a nice, hot, sunny day in
Arima.
I heard they had rain in Port of Spain, but in Arima, not one drop of rain fell. It was a beautiful day.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if it rained in Port of Spain. Not when I was in town. It didn't rain in Barranquilla or San Juan. So, but it was scorching hot. Scorching hot.
Yeah, I think it rained in St. James.
Did it? Probably just a little brief one then. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, morning.
I think I have a couple birthdays to.
Oh, I have one.
One is whom I think is Denise Deming's husband. I think, what is his name again? What is Deming's?
Mr. Demings?
Richard.
Richard Deming.
Richard
I
Deming.
think he's celebrating his birthday today. So happy birthday, Richard. I knew him way back in the day as an insurance agent. I'm not sure what he's into. You know? But happy birthday also to Leslie Ann Bristow. I think she has a calypso sobriquet. I'm not sure what it is. Kwesi Robinson, former chairman of Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation. Reynald Thomas, Monica Mohammed, Riaz Shagir, they all celebrated birthdays today. August 23rd? 23rd or 22nd?
Today's the 23rd.
23rd, yes. 23rd. I'm losing track of time. I think today is also cricket down at the Brian Lara Stadium, West Indies versus South Africa. And then there's a women's CPL match. Well, West Indies women's got, not women, but the TKR got licks last night from the Barbados Royals in the cricket. The women's cricket, I watched a little bit of that before I dozed off. Yeah. So we have cricket in the country in the Brian Lara Stadium. I think for over the next 5 days, there'll be 3 matches, I believe. You know? So you all can go down there and support the West Indies women's women's CPL. I think that's what it is. Women's CPL.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. I think the men's matches at 3 and women's at 8.
Yeah, which I found a bit curious.
Yeah, I found that a bit odd.
Yeah, but clearly the focus is on the women's CPL.
Yeah.
You know?
Clearly. I have never been to Taruba. So
Never?
Never.
It's really a beautiful place.
If I'm going, I'm not driving. I hear too much horror stories regarding the traffic and the parking and this and that.
Yeah.
So next time
you may not get that for a match that probably won't sell out. If it's a match that's selling out, trust me, it's headache. It's real headache. You have to walk a lot.
Good morning, y'all. I have a lot of videos to share with you all this morning.
Mm-hmm. Kick one off there, Paul. Kick it off.
Shall we begin?
Kick it off. What we got here?
So we were talking about this.
We were talking about this yesterday.
Earlier in the week. Right? This is the video involving.
Who are you, sir?
Supposedly the officer.
You are superintendent who?
You have to talk to me at this point.
Come, sir. Come.
What?
Come.
What at this time? Oh, I like your body cam.
I am superintendent. I'm here.
Let me see your ID card, please. Yeah. Go quickly. Go quickly and get the ID card.
Arrested, please, ma'am.
Is the other guy a
We
police
did it
officer?
because I want to go to Professional Standards Bureau. Go get the ID card. Go get the ID card. Go get the ID card, man.
What's your chair? Right?
Alright.
Ma'am, obstructing me?
She's not obstructing, sir. She's not obstructing. You have no legs to stand on because you have no authority to do what you're doing. That's why I'm going to report you. Bring your ID card. That's why I'm recording. Because that's the only thing that you and the others you'll have respect for. To be taken advantage, to ensure that you all are held accountable. Bring your ID.
You don't want it.
Yeah, he good. He going. It better now because I'm recording. I'll deal with him.
You have talked to this lady, please.
Yeah, just keep recording. Let me see the ID. I don't have to hold it. You see how it's at the tremble already? I like it. I like how it tremble. Right. Mulchan what?
Man, 12851.
Right. 12851. And you are what? ASP? I saw ASP there. Good. So now that you have proven that you are a police officer, now that you have proven that come sir. Yeah. Right.
I
Love the body cam. Love the body cam. Well done, instructors in St.
But in
James.
charge. The man in charge, clearly.
left. Come,
Clearly,
come,
he sounds like a police
come.
officer too, huh?
Come now, man. Come now, man.
I think we do a
Since
wrong
you
thing
like
here.
you like road rage, come. Come now, man, Mr. Road Rage. Come. Come, Mr. Road Rage. Come, Mr. Road Rage. So let me ask you a question. Why are you detaining me here?
He take over the whole thing. You know?
Why are you detaining me here?
Are they gonna jump in their car and drive off now?
They realize they put over the wrong kind of person.
The other guy actually sounds military-ish or police-ish.
Yeah, but the way they suddenly seemingly made a hasty retreat from the original posture,
Yeah.
you know, suggests to me that they realize this maybe not be the person to tangle with this morning.
But
But
they don't.
it's here to do
Police
the
don't
Wendell.
ever like to be recorded, you know. They don't ever like you recording them, you know.
Well, they don't seem to like recording of any kind.
I love his body cam though. What's that, a Samsung? Wonder how the battery life.
Anyway, yeah, that.
Well done, instructors in St. James.
Anything comes out of it.
I'm back in
This
Trinidad.
guy is back. In Trinidad and Tobago.
Because I have court in less than 48 hours. So that's right. This Friday morning, I have a virtual appearance. Some people might say it's virtual. Why do you have to be back in Trinidad? That's a great question. I do not make the rules. Part of my bail was that I had to return even though court is virtual. And here's an update I haven't shared with anybody else. I'm going to share with you, my closest friends on Instagram. I have fired my criminal lawyers and I've decided I'm going to take on this charge myself. I'm going to defend myself. That's right. Some people might say, Chris, now you've proven you are a crazy guy. And the truth is, court thus far, okay, 2 appearances by my criminal lawyer, they invoiced me $50,000 US. I'm a fairly new YouTuber and I don't have that kind of money, so I'm going about it myself. Freedom is not free in Trinidad.
So
50,000 US.
the attorneys to which he referred, Pamela Elder, senior counsel, and her junior, who is Russell Warner, have said that they cannot discuss what transpired between them and Mr. Hughes, their former client, because that is subject to legal and professional privilege. But they did say that his claims contained gross inaccuracies and distortion of facts.
So what but he mentioned, I saw part of that video, you know, he mentioned the names of the attorneys, you know.
Well, he was initially represented by Christian Williams, but that later changed to, according to the report, Ananam Logan SC and Mrs. Elder SC, and of course the junior. So
yes.
And those are senior
the
counsel.
attorneys changed over time, and now he says he's representing himself. But you know what they say in court? The person who represents himself has a fool for a client. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know his circumstances, but clearly, if as he says, it's 50,000 US he has been charged for 2 appearances thus far. 50,000 US.
Well, Mrs. Elder has said that that claim or the claims contain gross inaccuracies and distortion of the facts. I don't know, but the only thing he referred to related to attorneys is data.
Yes, he did.
So
yes.
he wouldn't respond to anything but that. So it implies that that is what she's referring to when she says gross inaccuracies and distortion of the facts. Quite frankly, I think whatever.
Well, whatever. Because he also said part of his bail is that he must appear physically, even though he's doing it virtually. He must be in the country to do it virtually. I don't know that that is so.
Well, that's what he said. And it may be that because really and truly, when you are charged with serious crimes in many countries, you have to make appearances at police stations, etc. So that may be part of it. That you have to physically present yourself to see that you are engaging in all conditions of the bail. So I don't know what the conditions are. So that's what he said. So he's here, and he has a court appearance later on this morning. Of course, more than likely will be adjourned to some other date. So we'll see how it goes.
That's why we have several attorneys listening to us right now.
Well, we don't know how the judge or the magistrate will proceed. So we had to come because suppose they say we start the trial now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the trial is still virtual.
You don't know that all aspects will be virtual.
Okay.
Do we?
Well, I think it is. I think your first appearance had to be physical at a police station, but I think subsequently it's all virtual.
Well,
unless it's a matter.
Take a criminal lawyer. Well,
maybe high court matters.
They're criminal charges. It's not a civil matter.
Yeah, maybe high court matters. You have
and
to.
Somebody is saying, "What if his bail is revoked today?" You don't know. You understand?
Bail is revoked.
Yeah.
So you don't know how the case will proceed. So come and deal with it, and then we'll see if they allow the bail to continue, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's that. Then we have this. I'll take up the audio for this. This is somebody getting robbed at Eddie's, the food strip at Eddie had at gunpoint. I mean,
what?
This is the first time I'm hearing about robbery there, though.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Kelly is on that tent.
Yeah. See, you don't empty the cash register already.
Oh yeah.
You gotta be careful when you go there now.
No
place is exempt, you know. You understand, from the criminal zone. Mm-hmm. If they could kill a 5-year-old child and open and see the child and still continue firing bullets, it mean anything possible, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And then this is the thing I was talking about, where people need to be careful.
Yeah, watch a sneak by watch that column.
Where this woman is walking around in the early hours of the morning asking for help. Walking from property to property, help, help, help.
But she's saying help us.
She's saying help, help.
You can't see the sneak there. It's on the right hand side of the column.
And I mean, if the natural instinct is if you hear a female crying help after 2 in the morning, between 2 and 3 in the morning, your natural instinct is to go outside and see what's wrong with so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not these days.
Yeah, Sherelle shaking up the door. Hello.
Where is this though? Is this a beach house or something?
You know where this is though?
I think it's somewhere in South Street.
Okay.
Anybody? Help! Help! Help!
So she continues asking for help for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they don't have a gate, they have a chain running.
Donovan is saying it's Barpo.
Okay.
Right? And then nobody comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I don't know, nobody was home. People just getting bright these days.
Mm-hmm.
And your instinct to be a good Samaritan may put you in trouble.
Yeah.
And then later on in the video, she jumps in a car and drives away.
Yep. Yeah.
Suggesting it may have been a ploy to rob people.
Correct.
The person in the house may have been monitoring her anyway, watching and seeing, you know?
Yeah. Well, they had the cameras, so.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
You really can't trust anybody these days, you know.
So the debate over the coat of arms and the 3 ships and the steel pan replacing it rages on. The leader of the opposition has said Trinidad and Tobago has more important issues facing it. So we should move on from that. But I want to share a video. Marsha Walker is now on the afternoon drive on Hard Talk. And she interviewed talk show host Sarah Jane Waddle. recently, and I want to share that with you because I mean there's so many different perspectives on this.
Sarah Jane Watley is a talk show who's where?
On CNC3.
Okay.
She just hosted a season 1 of a quite controversial women's show called Our View, which came in for quite a bit of criticism for what people describe as a narrow perspective on many important issues. So let's share it and then we'll discuss.
At the outset of my commentary on this, I would like to just separate what I'm about to say from our Prime Minister. This is not about him, purposely about him, or purposely not about him, or a criticism or a praise of nothing.
We're just discussing the issue.
I want to isolate the issue of what they are attempting to do and just discuss how preposterous it is on its head. And I'm not talking about this from a financial standpoint of how much it's going to cost. I'm talking about the fact that on July 31st, 1498, Columbus, on his third voyage, discovered this country. He discovered this country. He saw 3 peaks. You know, you can still go to Moruga Beach and see, you know, and like this is such a pivotal point in our history that is being erased because of election pandering. And that's a very serious thing. We should not allow the whims of one person or one government to be able to erase something that is our history. Our history is not a perfect package of pink ponies and sparkles. There's dark sides of it. There's scary aspects to it. There's things that hurt us as a nation to look upon. But no one person has a right to erase something that is literally our creation point, to take that out of the story. That's like taking Bethlehem out of Jesus. You know what I mean? It's so insane to me that the level of hubris that it would take to remove a symbol of our creation from our coat of arms is very disturbing to me. And it also shows that the only reason they think this is okay is because this sense of victimhood that is permeating the land. And this is simply an empty gesture that would cost the government hundreds of millions of dollars, would actually not do anything for anyone. It is not an actual form of reparations. And on top of it, I mean, Marsha, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't personally know anybody who was victimized by the Pinta and the Santa Maria and whatever. You know, who was victimized by these ships? You know, and it's if we don't know where we came from, we don't know where we're heading.
My God.
God, I heard that laugh from here, Paul.
She doesn't personally know anyone who was victimized by the Nina de Pinta and the Santa Maria. So forget you and my foreparents, Wendell, because she don't know them. And we are erasing a pivotal point of our creation.
Yeah, symbol of our creation.
Watch. Discuss.
A symbol of our creation. That's it. Those are the words she said.
Discuss. You all discuss.
My God.
Discuss. Now, I played it because, you know, it's important to hear a lot of different views, right? You agree?
Yes, I agree.
We have a particular perspective which we've espoused, but you know how many people are thinking like that?
That's sad. And she said,
that is true.
Part of the clip, she said she doesn't agree with the victimology, and I'm paraphrasing here, because victims, if you buy into the victimology mindset,
victimhood, I think is the word she used. Victimhood.
You owed something because you're a victim. Anyway, you all open the phone lines. Discuss.
All right, so 222-8255, toll free for North Americans. 866-525.
She doesn't know anybody who was personally victimized by the Pinta and the Santa Maria. Because she doesn't know anybody. Nobody was victimized. Nobody yet faced any atrocities. Cringy.
That reminds me of a particular video way back in the day, not too long, about that fueled a percentage discussion in this space.
Well, there are people who live in bubbles in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And they're born in a bubble, and they grew up in a bubble, and that is all they know.
That's all they know.
The perspective and the experiences of other groups or people seem to mean nothing to them, or can be easily minimized as a. She actually said, I had to edit it and bring it in, that she doesn't personally know anybody who was victimized by the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. So what is the big deal? Open the phone line, Steve.
Yeah, I got a call already. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
Oh God, Sarah just threw me off. Oh God, that BS. That lady, is she American or Trinidadian?
She's Trinidadian, and we may disagree, but I want us to be respectful of the woman, please.
Really?
Not you're going to be disrespectful. I'm just telling everybody.
Oh God, Lord, wait. I wonder what school she went to, what history book she read. Oh my God, it can't get worse than this. Nah. Oh God, no. Lord have mercy. Hey, Lord. Anyway.
I think she was a Miss Trinidad and Tobago, if I'm not mistaken.
What? Oh, you're making me fall like Anil Roberts.
I think so. I think she was a Miss Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh no.
I think she. Let me check. I
It's
think
in
she
a page in
represented
my
Federal
chest.
Patents.
Good Lord. Oh my God. Anyways, let me move on. Jesus. Anyway, I make sure and I will educate my grandchildren.
All right. Yeah.
What? Anyway, I want to talk about the video you showed, Paul. I saw that in our neighborhood chat. I'm not sure these people just run videos on your chat. They don't even tell you where it's from. I don't know if that happened down by me and they go where. But you see that if that lady was in any kind of these, she could have got away from some kid abductors or whatever.
Yes, Miss Trinidad and Tobago 2014. She represented us at this world.
Oh, right. We had a situation where, well, we have a double palm down here and a Venezuelan girl running.
Where's that? Where?
Diamond Vale, Paul, you don't know.
Yeah, I don't subscribe.
Listen, have that everywhere now.
Don't tell me you don't know the Diamond Vale.
I don't know. I have never been to double palm in my life.
Double palm. At the corner of the Diego Martin Main Road anyway.
Thank you for the information.
And the girl, like they would abduct her, or they had her there in the hotel, and she escaped, and she was running down in her underwear and a top, a jersey, whatever. And this lady wetting her lawn. People's wet lawns early in the morning. Wetting she lawn, and the woman, the young girl, pointing up the road. And when she talking in Spanish, the lady gets so frightened. She run inside and call the husband. And because they didn't know if they might have see a car coming behind, and they brought her into their home, and they called the police. Boy, that was drama that morning. Anyway, so that people got to be careful. I saw that, that's why when they call and they ring my bell, and they stand up and look through the window, and can you come a minute? I said, no, I could hear you from here. I'm not going out to nobody. I don't know. Yes. And to Christmas list. Listen, Christmas list, you remind me of the Gladiator. The Gladiator was defending himself in all his cases, and he used to win them. Gladiator was his own lawyer. I say, wow, look at what this Christmas list, you're right. Save that money, because I watching the fine, $3,000 or 2 years in prison. You don't need no lawyer for that. Look, Christmas list, take a bow. You did the best thing. Defend yourself. You'll have a blessed day. Go on.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Good morning. All my lines are lit up. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, morning, fellas.
Morning.
Yeah, well, okay. I guess that shows as an example. That recording is an example of why we should have history in our classrooms at our schools that are very, break it down seriously. But I agree. And I agree with the commentary yesterday. There should be a little more sober conversation around something that is this important. But if you want to our authentic voice and the stripping away of. If you're finding identity, certain things will have to fall. But when it going to decide, it must have context in the sense of a historical understanding of origin, your origin, how you reach here, and why you're here. And in those things, we are missing those gaps. So and I guess that argument of pulling down things, it will disappear your history and all those kind of things. But if it only disappears, even if it disappears because it's not being taught. Anyway, we don't have any memorials.
It corrects your history, Dean. That's what I think it is.
Well, I wouldn't say it's being taught because there are versions of Columbus's voyage and what happened when he got here that are extremely Eurocentric and inaccurate.
Right, and I went through that. I went to one of the better schools. They say that, and the history was very flippant. It was very surface. It wasn't nuanced. And those things, that's the history we need. We need a nuanced history that tells the story. You go down, deep dive. We just tell you a surface kind of history, at least in my experience of history in school. Maybe they have changed it, I'm not too sure. Kind of old man now. But if we're going on strip, we have to put down things that also tell. So it doesn't go, you can't just bring down and leave the space empty. You need to put things in the space as well. Yeah, man.
All right.
The pan going in this space. That's what going in this space.
Good morning, Mr. Ragoobarsingh.
Good morning, guys. Good morning to our listeners and viewers wherever they are. All right. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
We are good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, my name is Capital. I'm back over today. So, listen, I was a bit drowsy from sleep because I came in so late last night. But that tape you up there, that privileged person who lived in Trinidad, wherever she was, come and go on the air and say these kind of things about why she's trying to justify this thing with Christopher Columbus should remain there. That girl has no regard for black lives that matter, just like hers. That's a selfish person. She lived a privileged life, and she could get in the air and say these untruths.
There's a part of the interview that I didn't share where she says she doesn't believe in the word and the concept of privilege. She says some people are blessed in different ways to others.
But it goes to say and see other people there and that you discovered. You understand? Because Christopher Columbus, as you all have shown over and over, look at his history before he was. Everybody knows that in Colombia, they don't want to hear anything about Christopher Columbus. They put down all the statues and everything in Colombia. Anybody go and check that out. All of the islands, the Caribbean islands, they have done it. But you see Trinidad, they have certain people living a privileged life. So she feels that she could get in the air and say this. That's why I love that shadow sang for Columbus. But I would like her to come back in the air and get people like myself and others who I know will call and ask them any questions because she's living in something now. She has no regard to black people. For the African man and woman and our ancestors.
The woman said she doesn't know anybody personally who was victimized by the three ships.
Remember the gentleman Shabaka? I think y'all should bring him back. He educated me so much that morning when you all had one.
Well, could you imagine Sarah Jane Waddle and Shabaka Campbell on the same show?
Oh gosh, man, y'all need to do that.
I don't think Shabaka will engage. One of the other stories that is
thanks, Captain Ron.
One of the other stories that is being discussed on social media is the issue of the young man who I couldn't find a video to play it again, who drove the car seemingly recklessly, which resulted in I think it's his girlfriend, being killed in the accident. And his mother coming out and saying he was not a reckless driver. I don't know if she saw the video. And there are calls for his license, his driver's license, to be revoked because of the way people saw he was driving in that car, which literally wrapped around a lamppost. You understand?
Yeah.
And I saw the video of him speeding down the road when there were other cars in the road. Not that speeding when there are no cars in the road is any better. But it resulted in the death of Kaylee Poonan, who apparently was his girlfriend. and his mother came out saying he was not a reckless person.
I'm surprised I haven't heard from her relatives yet, though.
Yeah.
Well,
There was another post this morning where a gentleman posted up something saying that he got in an accident with the same individual.
Prior.
Yeah. And he
Apparently,
didn't
I
have,
saw that.
he believed the kid was about 17 years old at the time and was driving without insurance. That's what the post had.
So I don't know if you all agree with the question, should his license be revoked because of what
Well, I'm sure there'll be an investigation into that particular accident because, you know, sometimes, and we have had evidence to support it before, couples, and I raised this not too long ago. I know you all didn't appreciate it. Couples get into arguments, quarrels, fights while driving, and it results.
But he's driving the car, Wendell, and I don't want to deviate from the fact that he's the driver of the car. Even if that were the scenario, and we don't know that, he's the driver of the car and could pull aside.
Yeah, no, I'm not, and I'm not doubting that for any minute. I'm just saying there are so many different angles you have to investigate before you come to certain
Somebody is saying
conclusions.
the video wasn't him, but the previous owner.
Okay.
So then how, if it wasn't him and the previous owner, how did the car end up wrapped around a lamppost?
No, they said the accident before, maybe that's what they say. Because he had just bought the car, not so?
Apparently.
Yeah. So it may have been the car was involved in an accident before with the previous owner.
But it couldn't be. The car that I saw wrapped around the lamppost couldn't have the previous owner.
So it was him then, but they were reporting, Paul, what Steve was saying is what I also read too, that he was involved in an accident also before.
Or before.
So it could not have been that same car.
Yeah. All right. Guys, let's take this call. Been holding for a while. Good morning. Thanks for holding.
Yes, good morning,
gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning.
That lady who went for Miss World, who make that statement. I said that because I really want to see what I want to see. If she were asked when she went for Miss World, what she think about the niner, the pinter, and the Audi, if that is what she would have said.
Well, yeah.
I really want to know if that is what she would have said. And I want to go back to a little while. Mr. Khan, I didn't see I was trying to see the snake that he was talking about in looking in the snake.
Yeah, the snake there, it just was so small you couldn't see it on the screen just now.
And Wendell, the last time when the minister was on television, I wanted to know why you went, Mom, and you asked him about the helicopter. That was a really important question. And then you just leave it in answer and you didn't say nothing. I wanted to hear what was the response with the helicopter.
Yeah, I was having internet issues where I was that morning, so I wasn't able to hear the minister or even Steve. I was only hearing Paul, so I was using my phone to listen after, and so it was out of sync. But I was told he didn't answer it also. But I asked that question based on Richard always raising that issue of helicopters being used at the scene of crimes to track down people. You know.
Yes, he did. And Mr. Paul Richards, thanks for bringing up that thing with that lady boy. So you see, it is good sometimes to expose these people. Now that program, a lot of people would pass that, you know, and show up that, you know. So thanks for doing that.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy. All right. One more call. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Well, I am up the creek. Alexa hasn't been working. Thanks for Me TV that's been acting up. And this morning, I'm still watching page loading on my phone. So I'm calling by guest Steve.
Oh, okay.
Who is it with the tape you all had just now? The lady on the right side, the fair-skinned lady. Is she a Trinidadian? That was talking that nonsense?
She is Trinidadian.
Concerning the... I heard somebody talking about the 5-year-old get shot and they're talking about coat of arms. What one have to do with the other? Mr. Allen, always on Rowley watch, PNM watch, and not crime watch. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. I'm tired here.
What you say, you know? Is Rowley
Yes.
what you say, you know?
He always complaining about Dr. Rowley and PNM. Oh, God, on crime watch, deal with the crime now. Oh, a 5-year-old died, and they talking about
A 5-year-old was murdered, not just died. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but what one have to do with the next? And Miss Sushila, what the price of goods have to do with the coat of arms? Dr. Rowley don't have a chain of grocery stores. The price high have nothing to do with Dr. Rowley. Get a life. I already stressed out. I can't see or hear you all. Alexa down. The TV scrambling and the phone still loading. I up the quick this morning. You all have
Well, if you have an Alexa problem and your phone is still loading, it would seem that you have an internet problem at home.
No, the phone down a while. I mean, Alexa down a while now, and I was glad for the TV. And the TV always scrambling.
We do apologize for that. It's horrible this morning.
Yes,
well, it's been horrible for a little while.
It's been horrible for a while, but it's
I've
exceptionally horrible.
The Sarah Jane Waddle clip after this.
I really have to get up on my butt and get Alexa fixed.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
Rich, do you have newspapers?
Of course, he has newspapers.
Of course, I do, Paul. I'm an organized person.
You live in Arima, you know.
I'm an organized person. I can show
you have a lot of things in Arima.
Yeah. For one thing, they have is papers.
It should have nothing to do but to walk out the road and stroll and chat and buy papers and I do. Well, the Heineken here, we get Heineken this hour.
Yeah, Heineken in the fridge.
Christ. Daily Express this morning. I'll start with the Daily Express, and of course, today is Friday, August 23rd, which reminds me that theater is on tomorrow and Sunday at the Central Bank Auditorium. I was watching my colleagues on television just now.
I think I'll come down Sunday, God willing.
Yeah. So anyway, the front page of the Daily Express. PM expresses shock and anger over murders of father and daughter. Barbarism is the headline on the front page of the Daily Express this morning. Spreading their wings, performers from Cavallo Productions used their costume designed by Farid Cavallo during yesterday's Kappa Airlines Leader Summit for Latin America and the Caribbean, hosted by the Airports Authority. And Christmas list dumps his lawyers' fees too high. All of that is on the front page of the Daily Express. On the back page, which is also news now, obviously Express has migrated to having news on the back. And Anil defends live sport amid $30 million judgment against eBeam Interact.
What?
And getting them checked.
Anil defend live sport still? He can't be serious.
And getting your eyes checked. This is a picture of a woman.
Why are you ignoring me?
And if I go into the sports, Jareem 5th in Lausanne, and that's in Switzerland. Guardian for today. Attack angers PM. That's the headline that the Guardian went with. Maruga residents fearful as killer still on the loose.
I'm sure they know who it is.
Enrico Guerra and his 5-year-old daughter. There is a picture of the two of them, and there's an inside photo of the Prime Minister. That's a regular photo. Ex-UNC councillor seeks PNM election ticket. Well, you know, once you're coming from the UNC, you have more power than people who are there for years. Not so Wendell.
Wow.
But you are big PNM boy.
Am I saying an untruth?
I pleaded the fifth on this one. Because somebody go back and say I say it and not you.
They will say it anyway.
And ecstasy, that's also on the front page. And mom defends son involved in fatal car crash. And on the back page, Basarath to return as VP. Well, that was short. And so that's it for the Guardian. Newsday, front page.
Cops won't give up crime fight. Police and national security undaunted as murder toll crosses 400. Let me shut up. The Gulf Stream arrives at Sea Lots, Port of Spain, upside down and towed by 4 tugboats at 7:14 a.m. on August 22nd. Child killing is sign of frightening recklessness. And on the back page of the Newsday, Matthews stars again for Royals in Massey WCPL. TKR falls short in Taruba, and Wallace breaks TT sprint cycling record. So all of that is on the front and the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday today. I was trying to see that there's an important story in the Newsday, but I'm not so sure of it. So I'll pass it back over to Steve Can. On page 28, there is also an article on Lotto Madness, which is very important, at Central Bank this weekend in the Newsday, giving you all of the information. It's on page, it's actually the bank center of the Newsday. It's in the middle pages. So Lotto Madness is at Central Bank, so you can see all of that information.
All right. Did anybody win the lotto yesterday?
Oh my goodness, look, page 22 in the Express, there's also stuff on Lotto Madness. So you're getting all of the information in the newspapers this morning. I wonder if there's anything in the Guardian. I'll keep you.
I'm sure there is, Richard.
So go to the 20s.
All right. Well, let's get into our results of our morning poll, where we asked you yesterday, do you think the PNM is at risk of losing the next general elections because of crime in Trinidad and Tobago? That was our poll yesterday. The results are in. 57% said no. All right, 57 said no. It's pretty close. All right.
Maybe we should ask if they think UNC should win the next elections based on their policies and their criticism of the coat of arms. So.
All right, let's get into this morning's poll. And there it is on your screen, and I should tell you about it. Well, Richard will tell you about it. Go ahead, Richard.
Or do you have a different poll you'd like to share?
I find that poll is so specific.
Should the driver's license of Navin Badesi...
You mean it should be generalized? License of people involved in fatal accidents on the whole?
Well, I mean...
it can be, but it comes from a newspaper article in which people are saying, based on the circumstances,
shouldn't there be an investigation?
Okay, well, what poll would you like?
What is Winston Staney on this message board?
What?
Well, you could point to the same story, but go with the part where the mother is saying that her son is not reckless. You could frame a question around that. Do you agree with the mom, the mother of Mr. Badesi, that he was not a reckless driver? Because I think that's basically the sum of what she was saying, that he's not a reckless driver. I think I saw a comment earlier on in the chat where somebody was saying her parents was also agreeing with his parents. I saw that somewhere earlier in the chat. I think it's Ambrose Blanc saying that. Wendell E-News has an article about her parents siding with his parents. That was a comment earlier on in the chat.
Do you have a question you'd like to share that I could type?
So our morning poll, gentlemen, what are we coming up with quickly?
Oh, go with it if I mean, because
go with it for it's 5
because we're running on. I just find it's very specific to something that's not investigated yet. That's all.
Then,
well, it has been investigated.
Is there an alternative?
No, go with it. I don't have an alternative. I know you all showed several videos this morning, but I don't know if there was any poll out of those videos.
Well, do you agree with Christmas List to dump his lawyers to represent his self, to represent himself in the court matter? Let's do that one.
All right.
You see, my poll is
So go ahead, Wendell, with the poll. Let's get cracking on it. Go ahead with the poll, Wendell.
Do you agree with Christmas List to represent himself in the upcoming court matter?
Yeah, this morning.
Let's do that one.
All right. He said he's going to represent himself. He's new to YouTube, doesn't have that kind of money. So that's, do you agree with him? Yes or no? 222-8255. Toll free, North Americans, 866-525-1099. All right.
Richard, you right, yeah?
There it is on the screen. And I will tell you about it now once again. Do you agree with Chris Hughes, Christmas List, aka Christmas List, to fire his lawyers and represent himself?
Oh, I like how you put that over, Paul.
All right.
I like how you look nice on my poll, you know.
I got some votes already. Let me start. Let me just make
It was a little short.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Michael Robinson says yes. Hanif Daniel says yes. Richard P. Knight, yes. CJ New York, yes. Ben J. Singh, yes. John Cato, yes. Helen Prescott, yes. Captain Ron, yes. All right. 222-8255. WhatsApp 3181021. Gloria Gray, yes. David Wares, of course.
Lawyers must be cringing this morning.
Yeah. Winston says yes.
Richard, and you know we have a lot of listeners.
A lot of lawyer avoidance in the poll this morning.
Yeah. Kenwin says yes. All right. Do you agree with Chris Hughes, aka Christmas List, to fire his lawyers and represent himself? Shanika York, yes. All right.
You see when the emergency poll come in handy.
I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
It normally does on a Friday, you know.
Oh, jeez.
So to the two talk, to the
28255. Just slip in there and save the day, boy.
Oh, Lord.
I actually saved not just the day, I saved the weekend.
All right.
The whole weekend I deal with people are dealing with this slippery poll.
Do you agree with Chris Hughes to fire his lawyers and represent himself? Yes or no? All right. You want to know? Give us a call, 222-8255. Message on YouTube, Facebook, and of course on WhatsApp at 318-1021. Ish Malik says yes. Julia S. Batiste, yes. Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona, yes. How's the heat across there?
Some big shot lawyer going to pick up this pro bono.
Probably.
Of course. That's the same thing I said.
You know that, right? I'll call no names.
To get the recognition, of course.
Mm-hmm. Call no names.
And then they'll turn around and sue the state and make the money.
Or say the state should settle.
I ain't getting dragged into that conversation. So,
well, we know that. You abstain.
Do you agree with Chris Hughes, aka Christmas List, in firing his lawyers and representing himself? That's our poll this morning. What do you think? He fires
Jennings
and he's representing himself. He says the fee is too much.
Rena Jennings says yes.
50,000 US.
Imagine
That's what, 340 TT?
And that's just for the 2 court appearances thus far.
Mrs. Elder SC says his comments represent gross inaccuracies. Let me get the exact phrase here. I don't want to misquote this.
Is she a release or what?
One of the newspapers interviewed her.
Okay.
Yeah.
His claims contain gross inaccuracies and distortion of facts.
Yeah.
I don't want to misquote Mrs. Elder SC at all.
Yeah, but what claim? Which part
of the nice lady, yeah?
Well, the only claim that she could be referring to, because it's about lawyers, and she confirmed they're no longer representing him, is clearly about the fees.
Yeah. Beauty Culture says yes. All right, let's get into our 7 o'clock major news.
But he should be able to prove that.
Paul Richards is our anchor.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Friday, the 23rd of August, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 7 a.m. on News Power Digital. First, the headlines. Call made for public involvement before major adjustments to national symbols. Dengue fever claims another life locally, while 911 lab-confirmed cases are confirmed by the Ministry of Health. The UNC tells the government changing the coat of arms is not an urgent matter at this time. And Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley expresses anger at the shooting death of a 5-year-old girl. We have details coming up next. This is Major News to 7 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. Good morning. 6 months after wreaking environmental havoc on Tobago's windward coast, the mysterious Gulf Stream barge is now in Port of Spain and undergoing preparation for storage. The 100-meter-long vessel became the subject of environmental concern and political debate after the 7th of February, when the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, TEMA, received reports of a capsized ship off the coast of Cove. A thick oil-like substance was washing up on nearby coastlines, spanning beaches from Rockley Bay to Canoe Bay. Lab tests revealed it was bunker fuel. It is unclear where the barge capsized, what happened, who was on board, and who owned the vessel, and what was its final destination. The Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries reported it was successfully refloated and partially sunken barge at 11:54 on Monday. In a media release yesterday, the ministry said 2 tugboats from the National Energy Corporation, NEC, towed the barge from Cove, Tobago, to sea lots in Port of Spain in its overturned state in a 30-hour voyage. The transit of the barge progressed smoothly and unscheduled. The last stage of the journey to sea lots Port of Spain was completed at 6:43 a.m., the media release stated. The brutal murder of 5-year-old Anika Guerra and her father, Enrico Guerra, has angered Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who has described it as the worst kind of barbarism. In a post sent just before midnight on Wednesday to Facebook, Dr. Rowley condemned the killer who shot the child 5 times, admitting his anger at the double tragedy. The Prime Minister wrote, quote, "Tonight I am shocked and angered at the barbarism that could result in violent criminal conduct with total disregard for human life in our country, which could see an adult with a firearm deliver several shots into the body of a 5-year-old child." The Prime Minister continued with this, and acts like these represent the worst of what we are and what we've produced, and promised the authorities would pursue the criminal element, which is currently having TNT under siege. He added, "Our national efforts must not waver. The heartless perpetrators will be identified and justice will be served toward the end of eliminating this scourge from our country." Little Anika died after being shot multiple times in the left side of her face, lower back, and arm. She succumbed to her injuries at the Princestown Hospital at 10:20 p.m. on Tuesday, less than half an hour after the shooting. Her father, Garrett, died on the spot at his Maruga outlet. The Office of the Prime Minister says the Trinidad Express newspaper owes the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, and political analyst Dr. Winfred James apologies. It revealed this position in response to the Daily Express on page 7. A story by Shirley Ramsubag headlined "PM Defense Pan Plan Hits Back at Political Analyst," purporting to report on a public meeting held in La Hawkett on Tuesday night, which erroneously claimed Dr. Rowley lambasted Dr. Winfred James, a columnist who regularly writes for the Trinidad Guardian. The statement from the OPM indicated the Prime Minister did not at any stage during his remarks take issue with or name political analyst Dr. Winfred James. Dr. Rowley is fully aware Dr. James is not a current staffer at the UEC in Augustine campus, and therefore his reference to current staffers, analysts, and commentators at UWI could not have referred to Dr. James and clearly referred to others who are known to the Trinidad Express. Leader of the opposition, Kamala Prasadbi, says a calls on government to engage in more critical issues instead of matters relating to the country's coat of arms. Recently, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley indicated government's plan to replace Christopher Columbus's 3 ships with the National Instrument, the Steel Pan. Dr. Rowley made that disclosure at the PNM Special Convention last Sunday. Speaking at the UNC's final pre-budget consultation in Superior, Mrs. Passab-Bissessar claimed there are more urgent issues and developments facing the population at this time. She cited matters including the rising cost of living, crime, high food prices, and challenges in the school system, among others, which must be urgently addressed.
We have to deal with crime, Mr. Rowley, not with ships. Who cares about those ships? We care about the crime, the murder, the home invasions. We care about the high food prices. We care about school books for our children. Mr. Rowley, tell us, what are you going to fix then? They came to that anti-crime talk and they told me, anti-cams, we are happy that you came into our community to listen. Don't go down that rabbit hole, please. Don't follow down that rabbit hole about these ships. That is not important at this time.
Canadian YouTuber Christopher Christmas List Hughes is back in Trinidad and Tobago and says he will not defend himself in court as he cannot afford to pay his legal fees. Hughes claimed on Wednesday that he's had 2 days to pay US $40,000 for just 2 court hearings. However, his former lead attorney, Pamela Elder SC, says this is not true. Elder confirmed that she and her junior attorney, Russell Warner, no longer represented Hughes, but whatever transpired between us is subject to legal and professional privilege. Elder said Hughes' claims contained gross inaccuracies, distortion of facts. The 45-year-old travel vlogger was charged with sedition in June and subsequently granted $100,000 bail. While he does regular travel vlogs, he's most well known for videos showing people with guns and discussing gang life in this country. To date, he's pleaded innocent. He was initially represented by attorney Kristen Williams, but that later changed to Anonym Logan SC Civil and Elder SC and Warner Criminal. Williams is now Hughes' bailer. In an Instagram post on Wednesday, Hughes said his next court appearance will be today, August 23rd. Although virtual, he said the terms of his bail required him to be in TNT to attend. He was briefly allowed to travel home, but his passport has since been confiscated. In the video, Hughes continued saying he will defend himself because freedom is not free in Trinidad. Another person has died of dengue fever in this country, bringing the total number of deaths locally to 9. This confirmed by the Ministry of Health in its latest update on dengue cases in the country. The ministry also confirmed there are 911 lab-confirmed cases of dengue in the country. 15-year-old Nathaniel Toby of Coconut Drive Mover is reported missing. He was last seen on August 21st, 2024, and reported missing to the Mover police station later that day. He's of African descent, dark brown in complexion, slim built, and has short black hair. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Nathaniel Toby is asked to contact the Mover police station at 624-3737 or 800-TIPS, or contact the police at 555-999 or 911, or call any police station. You are listening to Major News, the 7 a.m. on News Power Digital. News of the region. Ghana Teachers Union confirms it's reached agreement on salaries and non-salary benefits for teachers covering the period 2024 to 2026. The union says the package includes salary increases and a range of non-salary enhancements, including allowances, duty-free concessions, housing, revolving funds, scholarships, clothing allowance, and health coverage. We have more details in this report from Kendall Morgan of Caribbean Morning Edition.
Teachers in Guyana are to get a 10% salary increase for 8% next year and 9% in 2026. The agreement between the Guyana Teachers Union and the Ministry of Education also provides for several non-taxable allowances and duty-free concessions. However, Union General Secretary Coretta MacDonald has accused President Dr. Mark Light of deceiving a number of negotiators and members of the Teachers Union's General Council. She says he acted in consult with the government and signed an agreement that contains meager benefits.
Staying with the region, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has clarified why Jamaican dancehall star Vybz Kartel is in SPG and made it clear his visit was not connected to political parties but just a thing of human decency and mercy.
Teachers in Guyana are to get a 10% salary increase for 8% next year and 9% in 2020. Teachers in Guyana are to get a 10% salary increase for 8% next year and 9% in 2020.
Gonzalez, speaking on NBC Radio's face-to-face program, said he wanted to address the issue of the presence of Vybz Kartel in SVG, his real name Adidja Palmer, being in the country, noting he was being interviewed earlier in the week by a radio host from Jamaica for for the reasons behind the Jamaican entertainer's visit to that country. And finally, crucial supply chains are under threat across the North America after a rail labor dispute in Canada led to a shutdown of freight traffic in the country's two largest railways. Canada's National Railway and Canadian Pacific Kansas City locked out nearly 9,300 workers after midnight on Thursday after failing to reach a deal with the Teamster Union. Canada sends around 75% of goods to exports to the U.S., mostly over rail. We have more in this from CBC News.
While facing calls to intervene in negotiations, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau instead urged parties to reach an agreement for the sake of Canadians and Canadian businesses.
My message is very straightforward. It is in the best interest of both sides to continue doing the hard work at the table to find a negotiated resolution. Millions of Canadians, of workers, of farmers, of businesses right across the country are counting on both sides to do the work and get to a resolution.
And that is major news to 7 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have headlines coming up at 8 a.m. with major news once again at 12 noon.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right, thank you, Paul, for our major news. Actually, Paul, we join him again, come at 8 o'clock for our news brief. And of course, Eve, you'll be in for major news at noon alongside Sir Charles. 26 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 28 at Crown Point with our weather forecast is going to be like for today. Partly cloudy conditions with few isolated showers. There is a 30 to 40%, which is low to medium chance of a few of these showers becoming heavy and or thundery at times, mainly during the afternoon. Partly cloudy intervals overnight with few showers. Gusty wind, street flash flooding can occur in the event of heavy showers and or thunderstorms. Maximum forecast temperature for today, 33 at Piarco, 32 at Crown Point. All right. So that's your weather, that's your news. And quickly, let me see what's happening traffic-wise. Yeah, just leaving south, Couva to Sugargornas, Montrose, Main Road is heavy. And that's it. Little traffic by Trin City to UE, Eastern Main Road in that vicinity as well. And from Swim Call heading to Port of Spain, you've got some traffic. All right, so there you go. All right, let's see if we have any more votes on our morning poll. We do. Slick Money Grip says yes. Anthony Tinto says yes. Lando, what's the WhatsApp number? Lando, it is 3181021. So it's 1021. 318 is what you really have to remember. Ray, West Palm Beach says yes to the poll. And Finbar Collins says yes. Right, so that's it. That's all the votes I've got thus far.
I don't think anyone said no.
I don't think so either.
No, and we within the allotted time, because it was a short time, we had 22 people voting this morning on the poll. So do you agree with Chris Hughes, aka Christmas List, to fire his lawyers and to represent himself? He had 22 votes in the allotted time, and of the 22 votes, everybody said yes. You do agree with him in firing his lawyers and representing himself. And of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, throughout programming, and we give you the final results. Well, this takes you through the weekend, actually.
Yeah.
And we give you the final results on Monday morning with regard to this poll.
Yeah. Anderson Matthews just popped in and said yes. So, yeah, of course, you'll go to our mobile app, which you should have by now, just for Power 102 Digital and whatever platform you're on. Or you can go to power102fm.com and vote as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
We have to find a way, gentlemen, of putting up our poll results after the poll on the screen. Right after the actual poll, if we can have an added line or something to put the poll results.
Well, you're talking to Paul already. You're already talking to Paul.
I can put up your poll results after, yes.
Yeah, I like to see my slippery poll on these results.
You're talking to Paul.
Heaven help us.
Your long polls on my slippery poll. And Richard controversial poll like that one yesterday. Richard come out and he blew in that poll yesterday, yes. So look how he played himself.
Yeah. I went down the rabbit hole.
He's always very judicial in his poll, is using his poll.
Yeah, he's very, very particular about his poll.
He's judicial is doing his poll. He's not one to share his poll widely
Yesterday
like
he didn't care, huh? Yesterday was like poll madness, not lotto madness.
Anyway, I have to leave at 7:30. So for those who are asking, I'll share the Sarah Jane video again, and you all can chime in and discuss other issues in the country.
I want to raise, when you finish, the issue of the screening that will take place in the 9 constituencies and the candidates, the nominees that have come forward, and the fact that we have heard nothing from the NTA and the UNC, who closed off applications for nominations long time ago. Not a peep out of them. But guess what? The PNM, they started screening. I'll do that after.
Can talk today, Wendell?
Yes, I am.
At the outset of my commentary on this, I would like to just separate what I'm about to say from our Prime Minister. This is not about him, purposely about him, or purposely not about him, or a criticism or a praise of nothing.
We're just discussing the issue.
I want to isolate the issue of what they are attempting to do and just discuss how preposterous it is on its head. And I'm not talking about this from a financial standpoint of how much it's going to cost. I'm talking about the fact that on July 31st, 1498, Columbus, on his 3rd voyage, discovered this country. He discovered this country. He saw 3 peaks. You know, you can still go to Moruga Beach and see, you know, and like this is such a pivotal point in our history that is being erased because of election pandering. And that's a very serious thing. We should not allow the whims of one person or one government to be able to erase something that is our history. Our history is not a perfect package of pink ponies and sparkles. There's dark sides of it. There's scary aspects to it. There's things that hurt us as a nation to look upon. But no one person has a right to erase something that is literally our creation point, to take that out of the story. That's like taking Bethlehem out of Jesus. You know what I mean? It's so insane to me that the level of hubris that it would take to remove a symbol of our creation from our coat of arms is very disturbing to me. And it also shows that the only reason they think this is okay is because this sense of victimhood that is permeating the land. And this is simply an empty gesture that would cost the government hundreds of millions of dollars, would actually not do anything for anyone. It is not an actual form of reparations. And on top of it, I mean, Marsha, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't personally know anybody who was victimized by the Pinta and the Santa Maria and whatever. You know, who was victimized by these ships? You know, and it's if we don't know where we came from, we don't know where we're heading.
And she started saying so many different things that she couldn't finish because she just knows she's talking nonsense. It's
I don't know that she knows she is talking nonsense. I don't know what to say about that. Wow. Just wow. That we're erasing a point of our creation, symbol of our creation.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't personally know anybody who's been victimized by the Santa Maria, the Nina, and the Printer. So
Yeah,
do you, Richard, anybody who was victimized by the 3 ships?
None actually.
Because we
As a
don't
matter of fact,
what Richard had. Richard, you don't want no comment, Richard?
the minute you come with that,
Watch me. Watch. I just one piece of it. It have more, you know.
I didn't realize it was actually a Power 102 interview. That's Hard Talk in the afternoon. I didn't realize it was that. When you said you played it, I thought it was something you pulled from social media, quite frankly. I didn't realize it was actually an interview on Power 102. Yeah.
She says she doesn't believe in privilege because people are just blessed differently. So she doesn't believe in privilege. And there's a sense of... No, she said it in another part of an interview.
Okay.
Well, do I want to subject the audience to more of that? A different point?
No. That is like the Monday night.
So it had nobody here before. It had nobody in this country before Christopher Columbus came. So forget the indigenous.
Well, I heard a comment from somebody who is indigenous. I heard a comment third party. Well, I shouldn't say. I heard a comment. I read a comment directly from somebody. But I read a comment from somebody who is from the First Peoples, as repeated by somebody else, and they said they have really no interest in whether they. I'm paraphrasing, but they had really no interest in whether they removed the 3 ships or not, because the entire issue of a coat of arms in itself is oppressive to First Peoples. Because of coat of arms is a European designation.
That's true.
So that whatever changing of the 3 ships to whatever you want to change it to is for the relief and settlement of the people who came, and you all have a conversation and go forth and you all enjoy yourselves. Basically it was that.
Yeah.
So they're saying the fundamental thing was there should basically be no coat of arms, because the coat of arms in itself is a European creation that represents a symbol of the takeover oppression.
That's another valid argument. But guess what? People keep using the argument of money. And I made the point yesterday on a Facebook page that we have been changing governors of the central banks over time, right? I don't know that they discontinue the notes that have been signed by the then governor when the new governor comes in. They just simply phase it out over a period of time. So you're not seeing Eurobob notes again. Somebody might still have. Well, they shouldn't, because we've changed the notes completely since then. You don't see notes with Winston Ducaran's signature again. You'll only see notes with Alvin signature. Alvin Hilaire, I think is his name, right? So, but that has been happening for years. They just simply phase out, gradually go out over time. So I don't imagine that you need to reprint, stop the notes with the current coat of arms and just simply use the proposed coat of arms. That is not going to happen. It's going to phase out over time. So how is that costing money?
Well, first of all, the genesis of this problem and this argument and all of this discussion that's taking place, I'm not really part of the discussion. I looked at it and said, okay, it's just part of the Trinidad and Tobago landscape that we're going to discuss for 2 weeks and then move on. And the genesis of all of this rancor is really where it was done. And if this, if the changing of a state, who did it to where? Well, because of where it was done. And I'm saying, Wendell, if you're changing a state symbol, there should be a process to changing a state symbol that is clear and sober and consultative, that says, let's agree, rather than come across as it's a fait accompli because we have decided and because we have the majority. It irks people.
Right. So let's agree that Dr. Rowley,
the genesis of why the rancor is so so much.
Right. So let's agree that Dr. Rowley probably should not have made the announcement, because it's not done yet. It still has to go in the parliament where it will be officially done, right? Even though he already said that we have the majority, so it will be done, right? No problem. That's politics. That's politics pure and simple. Let's agree that that is not it wasn't ideally announced. But do we really have a problem with it? Do we really need to go down these stupid arguments that have arisen since about TASA and about it be a source of ethnic division and about the amount of money? Do we really need to go all there? And that's where it's gone.
No,
okay.
I personally have no issue if it's changed to the steel band, because I recognize the steel band as being the national instrument, And I recognize that a variety of Trinidadians and Tobagonians across all ethnic lines have contributed to the steel band.
Yes.
But because so it's very much a national instrument. But I'm saying because we, like many other things, we don't have a steady hand in how we change things, and it often becomes whimsical, inverted commas, and to the toing and froing of politics. This is the result.
Right.
So we can no longer have normal discussions. So then people say, you talking nonsense. Where are you talking that from? You racist, you this, you that, and it becomes noise.
Right. And guess what? Politicians, all politicians across the divide do this from time to time. Make political statements to score political points.
And my point is, when it comes to state symbols, there should be a more sober process. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. No argument there. But guess what's a sober process that's taking place? The PNM is screening today and tomorrow, I think, for 9 constituencies. Faizabad, all these constituencies are held currently by the United National
Well, let's
Congress.
just put a pause. I have to leave, gentlemen, so you all have a great weekend. You
don't want to be part of listening to the PNM names?
Hold on. You answer you there.
See you later, Paul. Have a good one.
He answer you there quickly.
Yeah. So, so just to give people an idea that that in some of the areas, I don't know some of the names, but certainly in Mayaro, Sanka Mahabir-Singh has contested, I think, gone before. In Maruga Tableland, there was talk that Dr. Lovell Francis was throwing his hat in the ring again. He has not. In Pointe-a-Pierre, Kiran Singh, who we interviewed, I think he's the head of the San Fernando Chamber of Commerce. His name is there in Pointe-a-Pierre. Barataria Samuel has the Senate Vice President and Donna Cox, and Roger Mohammed, who I think is a policeman, a Calypsonian policeman. What's his name again? What is his sobriquet?
Who's this?
I think he sings Calypso. Roger Mohammed.
I
can't remember his sobriquet. And also in Caroni East, I don't know those names, but there are 2 women and 2 men. In Chaguanas East, that's the only place that there is one. Well, Chaguanas East and St. Augustine, the only place that there is one nominee. The Honorable Rishi Sukai is Chaguanas East, and Senator the Honorable Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal is in St. Augustine. Bodyguard, thank you.
Let me interrupt you. These are names of people who have been selected or who've
been nominated
for these seats for the general election.
To be screened, right. Yes.
Okay. Donna Cox is going for Barataria, is that?
Yes, Donna Cox is your possible MP, Steve Khan. Well, possible candidate. I shouldn't say MP. Okay. But these are all seats, as I say, held by the UNC. Bodyguard is Roger Mohammed's sobriquet. Bodyguard, that's him. Yeah, he's also in San Juan Barataria. Right? But the UNC called for nominations and closed nominations. NTA called for nominations and closed nominations. But we ain't here one peep out of them since. So I just thought I should
in terms of the candidates. Well, I assume for Rima it's going to be Penelope Beckles Robinson. That would be a given.
Well, they haven't called for nominations in the PNM held constituencies yet.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
They're doing the opposition held constituencies.
Yes. I follow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because in the PNM held, probably a lot of the incumbents will return.
I hope, honestly, I hope not. Don't quote me on that, eh?
No, I mean, we are quoting you on it. You're saying it on radio.
I hope a few of them realize, let me sit it out. Let me wait. Let me let the government go back in office and take some other appointment. Let other people represent some of these constituencies.
Would you like to share some of those constituencies?
No, I would not like to share. Not yet. I'll share it eventually, but not yet.
All right, let's open up the lines. 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. You can send us a message via WhatsApp at 3181021. All right?
You could
All
share
I
it
do
with
is
Pastor
bring your
Rumbox today.
calls.
You coming down?
I say you could share it if I pass by Rumbox today.
Yeah, I'll be down there by midday. You taking calls, Steve?
Yeah, I have no calls yet. I'm reading Miss Sampson sent us a WhatsApp saying that she's up the creek with Alexa. Miss Sampson, after you called and said you're having problems, I got a few messages saying that they're listening to us on Alexa. So you need to, I think you have an internet issue.
No, I think she has disabled her Alexa. I think that's what she said. She need to go back and get it.
Yeah, you need to go back to the app that you have, the Alexa app, and do something there. All right, we got some calls coming through, so let's grab them. Good morning.
Hi, morning.
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 Hey, Steve. Morning. Hi,
Morning,
everybody.
dear.
Morning, Wendell.
Morning, Mrs. R.
Good morning. Steve, you know what I wanted Wendell to particularly, and Rich, you know what I wanted to tell y'all? So you know y'all always talking about the police and you know the body cams and stuff. Well, yesterday, Wendell, I want you to listen to me carefully too. Yesterday morning when I left my area, well, the Rich knows where I am. I think you know where I am too, in Trinity right here. So when I left one of the avenues in Trinity and I came out, there's an officer that is always be behind the tree. Now, every morning, he's been behind the tree for like about a month now. So like yesterday, he stopped me and I was like, oh God, I want to know what is the reason now. So he stopped me and he asked me, can I ask you a question? First, before he said that, Wendell, he made sure he identified himself. He said, I want you to know for recording purposes, this is the body cam here. And that was the first thing he told me, right? Then he proceeded, yes, he had on his body cam.
Was that Brett Batson?
Must have been Brett.
No, it wasn't Brent Batson.
As the only officer I ever see wear a body cam.
No, that's what I'm saying. So when I listened to you all repeatedly talking about body cams, that was the first thing the officer in Trinity made sure. He showed me, he identified, he said, this conversation is going to be recorded. And then he
Which is the right thing to do.
Yes, exactly. So as I said, first of all, his behavior, his mannerism, his protocol.
Was he alone, Mrs. R?
He was alone, yes, Wendell. He was alone. And everybody who lives in Trinity, they know him because he's been out a month now and he constantly is looking at everybody.
So what did he pull you over for?
Right. So I'm getting to that. Bear with me. So what I'm saying,
I have a lot of calls. That's why. Go ahead.
Okay, Steve. All right. So what he said quickly was that are you wearing the seatbelts the way it's supposed to be worn?
What?
There's only one way.
Because I will be honest that many times when I put and I buckle the seatbelt click, sometimes I pass my hand through it, right? For reasons because of my uniform and stuff. For reasons sometimes, it just silly.
We know why. It had nothing to do with uniform. We know why.
He pulled me aside, Wendell, quickly, and he asked me if I was wearing it. And he told me and he showed me where, at the end of the day, the three pieces buckle, the lap, along with the piece going across. Those 3 points are ideally how the seatbelt is worn. And a prime example is just like how during the COVID, when people were wearing masks and they had them underneath their chin, that was against the law and they were being charged. In a case like that, you can be charged, and that could be $1,000, and it can be 4 demerit points for doing that. However, I am not going to charge you or take out any points, but just bear in mind that a lot of people are not aware of these things, and he enlightened me. So I was very grateful for that, and I just said I had to tell you, Mr. Wendell, and your co-host, that body cams are worn at the end of the day by certain officers, and maybe even my own, but I was one in a lifetime that I had gotten stopped, and he was on point, and I will constantly rate the TTPS for exemplary service. Thank you, Steve, for allowing me that.
Thank you,
love you, Wendell. Love you,
Mrs.
And when my girlfriend coming in today, so I'll see if I could bring her by you too.
All right, cool. I'll be there. God willing.
From here up today.
Yeah. If Richard say he coming there, I can't miss
All right.
Well, my Mr. must come.
I have so much story for him.
Thanks, Mrs. R.
All right, Steve. Bye.
All right. So, Wendell, you realize that Richard did ask you, you're going to be in town today?
Yeah.
You're going to be in Rumbox? And then Mrs. R said, I'm bringing my girlfriend. We come in the past, make a bus a line.
But Mrs. R comes there from time to time,
Yeah, but I draw any connection, that's all.
All right.
Good morning.
Morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi.
Good morning. No, I would agree with you all
in terms of the consultation aspect pertaining to the steel pan being placed on our emblem. However, I have to question as to those who are raising the voices if it is that they are genuine in the approach, because they're communicating really seem to be focusing on a form of division, and their concerns don't necessarily be sincere. And the reason why I say that, we will identify that our steel pan is a national instrument, right? Has been proclaimed, has been recognized internationally and locally. But when it is that persons are saying that, using the argument that if this is the right time, you have to ask yourself, well, when will be the right time for this to be instituted? And we tend to personalize as to who bring up the argument, in terms of it being the Prime Minister being the one who preferred the argument that this instrument is to be instilled. Now, if it is that you are not showing and you're preferring these ideas, you have not shown an indication or stated clearly that you have no problem with the instrument being placed. First of all, there seems to be a negative approach from the start. And I don't really buy the argument that, because I'm going back to history, right? First of all, there was the argument that it shouldn't be taught in school, the instrument, and that stemmed from the days of Satmaraj, right? Then you see that it's being connected to PNM, first of all. And this is an instrument that is developed by us. It is the one instrument that was solely for the 20th century. So when having this discussion, or having this open discussion of whether it should be and the process too, I don't see it going anywhere, because it's going to end up in the same point that it goes before Parliament, where you can have the same discussion, where it will be instituted.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It just don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Because the persons who are raising the argument, they're still going to take that same approach, regardless of. Look, the argument for constitutional reform. It's still being politicized, even though you're having the consultation being done. They're still communicating, same as a mimic. Right?
All right.
So we just have to be cognizant of these things, and the persons who prefer in these arguments. I don't really buy it. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, 22 minutes before the hour of 8 o'clock. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
My peeve this morning is with the lady's comment with the 3 ships. In 1498, none of us was there. But we all are aware of the atrocities that Christopher Columbus committed against those who were here, the Arawaks and the Caribs. I am wondering, she's saying it's part of our history. Isn't it part of our history that we should do something to highlight the atrocities and to honor and respect those who were the victims of his barbarism? What do you guys think?
There's very little to argue there, sir. You understand?
I don't understand why she's harping on it, because listen, the atrocities and the Holocaust that took place with the Jews, most of the people who were there are dead now. There are a few still alive. But there are young ones who will never allow the world to find out, to not remember what went on, and continue to prosecute those who were culpable. It's similar. We have a responsibility to those Arawaks and Caribs who were here, who were treated in a genocidal way. I think we have we have to protect them and their memory. And by removing the ships, I don't see a problem with it.
Right. Let anybody dare put up a swastika anywhere now, and see what happens to them.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, caller. Good morning.
Morning, Steve.
Morning.
Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, Richard. So, my thing is, this young lady who's speaking, we all were taught that Christopher Columbus came here in 1498 and he discovered Trinidad and Tobago. But that after we found out that is incorrect, we need to change it because our children and our grandchildren my grandchildren to come out to say, will be learning the same foolishness. He did not discover Trinidad and Tobago. He did not discover Trinidad. So why we still happen on this thing? Get rid of it once and for all. In fact, I think we should have a new coat of arms anyway, Just have a new coat of arms. I'm putting steel panel only. So she doesn't have and the part that irked me, she doesn't know anyone personally who was, victimized or anything. But she know. What does she know? See, these kind of people and come and talking nonsense what they don't know anything about. They shouldn't even be commenting on stuff like what they don't know. And my next issue is this. When the government has to change letterheads and stuff like that, I want to know if these letterheads that are in print right now, if they were to last forever. Even though we have to change letterheads to accommodate whatever changes going to be made, we still have to change it anyhow. So the cost that they're talking about, and I find that who added up and get it running into the millions. I don't know how people just add things and get something else. How did they come up with these figures, these erroneous numbers and money? How much millions of dollars going to be spent? We still need to get letterhead. Anyhow we take it. So when that time reach, we just change it to whatever is new.
That's all.
Right? Just like your passport. You remember when they changed your birth certificate? You didn't have to get it immediately. You change it when the time is due. You change your driver's permit when the time is due and so on. Whenever that time comes, But when people use these foolish arguments to justify stupidness, as their best. And finally, when Ms. Kamala Prasad brought in it will be problematic with ethnicity, from the time you say ethnicity, so you say the steel pan is an African Indian thing, that is the racial comment that the pan is for African, and why I ain't saying talking about this after. So why it says the pan is only for Africans? The pan is the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago. Just Samaru, all these people from years ago were pan arrangers and so on. So what? Is it? This thing's so getting me on my nerves. When the only thing I think Dr. Rowley did, the only mistake I think he made was announcing that at a political meeting. That should not have, in my opinion, that should not have been done there because I know that will generate a lot of bacchanal and comment. But to change it, it has to be changed, in my opinion.
Take care.
So, what I want to do.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, that issue with stationery and thing too. I'm saying, and people actually arguing that, I'm saying, but wait, every time a minister changes or a ministry move office from Riverside Plaza to Uptown, they have to change the stationery.
And stationery is simply changing the logo on your computer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a little bit
address.
This is a little more substantive because it's the actual coat of arms, but that is being changed. But you're right. A lot of times names of ministries change.
Yes.
And public just go ho-hum and correct and
When poor Marlene McDonald, God rest her soul, was going from one ministry to the next, what do you think they were doing?
Yeah. Let's grab this call, gentlemen. Good morning.
Changing the stationery?
Gentlemen.
Morning.
Dr. Rowley cannot get a break. It's damn if you do and damn if you don't. No matter where he announced whatever, there was going to be a set of talk. Whether he announced it at the PNM meeting or in Parliament, they would have still been going through what we're going through here. The money not coming out from any citizen pocket, so I don't know what they're querying about. They just add $1,000 for children to get books. You hear anybody complaining? They're not interested in the country. Everybody just interested in themselves. Nobody complain about the extra 1,000 to buy books, but you're complaining about something that's not taking money out of your pocket. Everything will whittle down. Good grief, give it a break. Leave the man alone.
Yeah.
I saw book. Well, I have a problem with book. But you all know I have a outstanding problem with book lists and books and the Ministry of Education, which is not as innovative and as progressive as it should be, in my opinion. And that is an age-old problem. And so we continue to track along where children are pulling mini suitcases behind them as they trudge to school, which is ridiculous. In addition to which, the headache of parents having to buy all of this crap and books every single term, and everybody's stressful and everybody looking for second hands and all those bookstores back up. Yeah, this book. Now we run out. You should have come with you. All of that crap.
But this week is when that madness going to take place, Richard.
It needs a fix, and it's stupid. I mean, 2024 that you're having citizens go through that, and it's a cost to a lot of people where this is a big deal. It's a big deal for all of those people. And I looked at somebody's book list the other day, and this is not even the books. This is the stationery list. Because you don't have a stationery list and it have a book list. This is the stationery list. On the stationery list, it had markers for the whiteboard, which the teacher using. So you have to buy the markers for the whiteboard that the teacher using. You hear what I'm saying? 6 rolls of toilet paper. This child had to bring the toilet paper to the school. All of those sorts of things on the book list. 2 different types of glue in bottle and a glue stick. And I'm like, somebody just need to type up something on a piece of paper.
And frustrate children.
And frustrate parents. Well, they frustrate the children, you know, it frustrates the parents.
True.
Yeah. All right, let's grab this call. Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Morning, Mr. Patrick. Morning.
Morning, Mr.
I was listening to the news where they say for the examination sexy, they catch about 55 people cheating students. Oh, yeah, about that cheating examination room too easy. And that
that's Richard that.
Right? No, Mr. Christmas, see, you got to represent yourself in court. Richard, I was saying, a normal citizen, a citizen, to go and represent himself in court?
They can say that.
Huh?
They can say that to a judge or magistrate.
But I believe the magistrate judge will tell you, well, you have to get a congress.
Well, the magistrate judge would usually caution you, depending on what kind of charge you have before the court system. If it's a very minor charge, sometimes they may say, okay, fine. But if it's something serious, they will caution you and say, I do think you should get representation. And, you know, it's not in your interest. And some will go as far as say, well, okay, even if you're representing yourself, I'm still going to have a lawyer on standby and still mandate that a lawyer be appointed to give advice if necessary, things like that. But
I know that.
But yes, you can say it.
Because I know some of them prosecutors in the court, them is lawyer, you know, and they will tie you up. You understand?
So a lot of the well, I know we moved away through Ajupa, but in a lot of those magisterial or summary matters, I'm going to say summary matters in the district court, it's police prosecutors. So it's not actually trained lawyers.
Right. And one more point. When the live sports didn't come up by $50 million.
Yes. The corruption between 2010 and 2015 will last us for another decade or more, you know.
So we get back that money, something like that.
You really think E-Beam? You really think E-Beam have $1 million far less today?
So the corruption
take the money and
another 10 years at least.
They don't bring the blackboard or something like that. They take the money and you go. What do you go by that one?
But this is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
E-beam is connected to the same person with the blackboard and thing.
Right. All right, whatever I say.
All right, Mr. Patrick. Thank you. All the best. Good morning.
Let me say good morning to Mrs. R because I was busy saying good morning and I was talking just now. I didn't realize that my mic was off.
Oh.
So it's only later on I said, but wait, my mic off. So let me say good morning to Mrs. R specifically.
Miss Henry, we ain't getting back a cent.
Good morning.
That's a paper judgment.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I want to make two comments on the issue of education. The first is in respect of children having to carry mini suitcases on the back. You know, that is not as much a ministry problem as it is a school management problem. I'll give you an example. I have two 6-year-olds who I drop to school periodically. Both of them go to school on Harris Promenade in San Fernando, and the weight of the school bags are considerably different. And even from with my children, when I investigated, what actually happens is that teachers are required to make timetables, and many of them don't do that. So if you check with the schools, you realize, well, wait now, the boy has a timetable and his bag is very light. And the girl, I have to help her because I'm concerned about her back being damaged as she walks from the school to the vehicle. And in inquiring, this is what I discovered. So if the teachers actually take the time to make a timetable so that the parents could send the children with only the books that they would use on the particular day, that could solve the problem. And it has solved it in many schools. The other thing is, it's sort of slipping my mind now. In secondary school, what I used to do when they changed the edition, depending on the school, and that happens in a lot of the prestige schools, the teachers sort of research the books and they prepare a sort of document, I will call it, to identify the differences in the editions and to provide the students with these documents so that they don't have to buy the new book if, say, they had a sister or somebody who used the same book. You know, so those are sort of innovative ways of solving those problems, but a lot has to do with the school management and the PTA. Have a good day, gentlemen.
All right, take care, man.
Mm-hmm. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, man.
Yeah, yesterday I saw a 5-year-old book list, and you wouldn't believe the amount of books that child has to carry. So I asked him up. I said, the teacher don't give them a timetable. She said no. I said, so that little child, 5-year-old, could throw that amount of books on her back? I find tutor writers, you see, about all those things with his teachers on them. His teacher on them a timetable so that they will know today what we could bring today and what they can bring tomorrow. And another thing, I was asking the parents, how did the child get into the school? She was telling me that she went to school. The child, they have 3 criteria there to get in the child. And one of was she has to have a sibling going to the school. If she don't have, she can't get into the school. She passed 12. But the other one, because she has nobody going to that school and it's near to her home, But here they're taking children from way out to the school. Okay? It's an Anglican school in Kufa. Okay? And I find that it's very unfair to tell her, but she has to have a sibling coming to the school to get into the school. You all have a blessed day and a wonderful week.
That's good enough for years. How you get into a school and who you know and how you could get somebody in, and that's been going on for years. And it's
for years and years and years.
And it's tiresome. It's tiresome. And there is something called a computer. There's something called a Chromebook, and there's something called digital books. So even if a book is updated, it should just be updated digitally, and the child has it on their computer. So all you're really going to school with is a laptop or a tablet.
Yeah.
Let me send a special good morning to a lady whom I met at Pan and Powder, Deborah from Barataria. She says at 5 o'clock in the morning, she gets up and puts on to prepare for us. So Miss Deborah, a red woman, I tell her, I say, but you are a red woman? A red woman from Barataria. She is an ardent fan of the Power Breakfast Show.
You say red woman in that kind of way, I don't understand.
You know me, you know me.
I don't understand that.
I'm saying a word, I'm staying quiet. But good morning, my dear.
What is Deborah from Barataria?
Some of his first women were red women, you know, Steve.
Yeah, don't remind me now. I don't have a proud grandson, red as he is, even with freckles on his face. Attending Jamaica College now. Came out of St. Mary's and gone to Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, you could squeeze one more call in before we wrap up on this Friday. Of course, Sir Charles will be in. Come up at 9, taking you through your mid-mornings. All right? Wendell, I worked in, Cheryl Henry is saying, I worked in many ministries. I never saw when a minister leaves, the letterhead of that ministry changed. Okay.
Yeah,
no, not the minister. The name of the ministry sometimes changed.
Yeah, the ministry.
Listen now, between 2010 and 2015 is the most among the ministries we've ever had in this country, you know, created. You know. They name all kind of ministries, diversity, all don't name it, they put ministries. You know, and stick everybody inside of there. It's 30-something cabinet ministers we had at that time. 30-something. For the most we've ever had in history. I don't know. I don't forget these things, you know.
A ministry name sometimes changes, but she is right. If it is a minister's name changes, that's just a matter of an addressing a letter. But the letterhead will change if it's the ministry's name that changes.
Yes.
But oftentimes letterheads, as I say, a part of a document on your computer that's just adjusted.
Yeah, it's a quick change on the computer.
Yeah, it's an adjustment.
Yeah.
Right. Well, gentlemen, let's wrap it up for this week.
All right, so you know what I'm going to say. Well, you know what I'm going to say. Theater is on this weekend, and I will always say support theater whenever it's on. And it's on this weekend at Central Bank Auditorium, which is one of our favorite spaces to perform at. It's like going home. And I saw Deborah and Zoe talking on TTT this morning about it, and they were asking which were their favorite theaters. And Deborah said, by far it's Central Bank, because that's where it all started for a lot of us.
Yes.
And so it's so special in that way. It's like going home anytime you go to Central Bank Auditorium. And so we are at home this weekend at the Central Bank Auditorium on Saturday at 8:30 and Sunday at 6:30 at the Central Bank Auditorium. Tickets are available at the Central Bank Auditorium from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily, which of course includes today. Tickets also available at K Squared Fashions in West Mall, East Gates, and Brentwood Mall in Chagonas, Jabili Rawe in Tunapuna, Alextronics in Arima, and Tony's Florals in Valpark Shopping Plaza. A lot of work going on in Valpark Shopping Plaza, actually.
Yeah, boy. No kidding.
And at Charflet Auto Services in Charflet. You can get your tickets. Tickets at $250 general and $300 reserved. So get your tickets early. I know tickets have been zooming so far this week. So a lot of people look like they're coming out to Central Bank this weekend. So get your tickets early.
Yeah. I'll come on Sunday. You know the most important part you forgot about Central Bank? When the lights go down, you could actually sneak a smooch.
Oh, yeah. I know that's what you used to do.
Yeah, and still do. And still do.
They used to hear these loud songs.
You know Wendell in the audience. One of these days, we'll have a serious discussion about Red Woman. Ideal? You say Red Woman from Arima is the worst.
Lord. All right.
Anyway, folks, have a wonderful weekend. Be careful on the nation's roads, and remember to let go and let God. All right.
The weekend has begun, people.
Next weekend is a holiday.
Next Saturday. So that is not really a holiday.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, we have been advocating that the Friday should be the holiday, but nobody.
Friday should be the holiday.
And you know, if Dr. Rowley, God bless his soul, say that, well, brother man, he win the next 10 elections. If he announced tomorrow, every Saturday holiday, you'll get the Friday off. Well, brother, why is it day?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah.
Great is the beard.
It shall prevail, they say.
Bye-bye, guys.
Have a good one, people. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. The weekend has begun. Enjoy it.
All righty. Of course, let's get into our news update with one of the greatest of all times.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
A call made for public involvement before major adjustments to national symbols. Dengue fever claims another life locally. 911 laboratory confirmed cases. UNC tell government change the coat of arms, not an urgent matter at this time. Teachers in Guyana to get salary increase. St. Vincent Prime Minister says Vibes Cartel's visit to the country is not political. And finally, Canada rail shutdown threatens U.S. supply chain. All right, get into our weather forecast for this morning. Weather Met Office is saying our weather is going to be like for today. All right, so here they go. Partly cloudy conditions with few isolated showers. There's a 30 to 40% low to medium chance of a few of these showers becoming heavy and or thundery at times, mainly during the afternoon. Partly cloudy intervals overnight with few showers, gusty winds, and street flash flooding can occur in the event of heavy showers or thunderstorm. The windward, partly cloudy conditions with occasional showers and the chance of an isolated thunderstorm. Maximum forecast temperature for today, 33 at Piarco, 32 at Crown Point. Currently, it is 31 degrees. 31 degrees already at Piarco International Airport and 30 at Crown Point in our beautiful sister isle of Tobago. That's your news update. Of course, major news comes up again at noon today with Avi and Sir Charles.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.